Okay, so hello everybody. I'm going to play through against an AI, and I'm going to sort of tell you my thought process so that hopefully you can sort of learn from that and see sort of how I play and the thoughts that process I go through and sort of my checklist. I'm going to play against a computer because I really suck at playing and talking. This is actually my second time recording this because the first time I was way too busy talking, totally got myself owned, and that wouldn't make a very good tutorial. So I'm going to go against Terran. The reason why I'm not doing random is because I just want to show you some of my extra thought process, and a lot of people hate the Protoss versus Terran matchup. And I'm just going to go on fast instead of faster so that hopefully I can talk and not get owned in the face, because for some reason I'm not quite good enough that I can talk and play the game at my full skill level. It takes away from my concentration when I'm talking. I've seen some players who can just play like normal and talk like normal, and it's like, wow. Anyways, let's start. So the first thing I do, if this was like 1v1 ladder, I'd say, oh, I'm against a Terran player, so immediately I think, I already know his race, what build order do I want to go, and I'm going to go 2-gate robo. I want to get out those Immortals in case he makes an early push with Marauders, but even if he has Marauders, having a couple of Immortals in your army is great, and if you go Siege Tanks, you know, pretty good too. Very beginning of the game, there's really not much to do other than hotkey this and send your probe to the empty mineral patch. You know, pretty basic. So, of course, at 9 is when you want to get your supply depot, but you don't need to pull one off right away at 9, pull it off a little bit later, unless you're going to your ramp, but I don't really wall in unless I'm playing against Zerg anyways, so you pull off just before you get to 100. I'm going to scout, and notice my minerals aren't at 50 yet, so I have a few seconds before building my next probe, but always thought on my mind is next probe, next probe, next probe. Let's hotkey this guy so I can control him better. You always want to be building probes, so I'm always thinking about that. And chrono boost, I use it when this is about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way full, that way you don't get supply blocked by this pylon, because if you use your chrono boost as soon as it's ready, your pylon won't finish before the chrono boost does, and you supply block yourself. Okay, at 12 supply I'm going to want my gateway, so I know that I'm at 12 now, so I'm going to want my gateway soon. Okay, just hit the 100 mark. I'm going to pull them off, and then plunk down my gateway. Sweet. And my worker has just got to his base. I can see on my mini map, that's how I knew. So just going to leave. Okay, let's do some wrath. Let's build some probes. And the neat thing is you can actually use chrono boost on the mini map if you want. And it doesn't look like my worker's getting... No, my worker is not under attack yet. Let's... I was totally late on building my gas there because I was trying to do something fancy and use my worker for harass. Don't do that, guys. Don't try and harass with your workers. Just scout instead of throwing off your build order. Okay, I'm checking out my gateway to see if it's almost done because I want to pull a probe off the line to be able to build a cyber core as soon as that's finished. And of course, the gas is finished. I want to get these probes on there as soon as possible. And of course, I want to keep building those probes. Really don't want to. And of course, I skipped the first zealot against Terran. I always skip that first zealot. So now I'm just going to hide. Oh no, he's got map hacks because he's AI computer, so there's no point hiding my probe. He's going to get a marine out soon, so I'm just going to run away. But as I was saying, I always skip this first zealot against Terran because it's really not that useful. Sentry or Stalker. It used to be that you would always go Stalker no matter what, just for the plain simple fact that Reaper's in your base. So now you don't really need to as much. And the Sentry's better to get extra energy for that force field in case they make an early push. Okay, as soon as this finishes, I'm going to start my warp gate technology, and from now on I want to use my chrono boost just on my warp gate. My supply is still good, I just checked it, and I know I want another gas soon because I'm going to go that robo. So I'm going to put this gas down a little bit earlier than usual. Chrono boost. Put it there. Okay, see, I'm always thinking, am I building probes? Am I building probes? Checking my supply, keeping an eye on the mini-map. His scout's really not doing anything yet. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. Okay, I could have been building this sentry a little bit earlier. I was too busy talking to you guys, or else I would have totally caught that. But I also am trying to think of what am I trying to say to you guys. Okay, just saw my assimilator finish. Maybe it finished a little earlier. Hopefully not too much earlier, because that's a waste of building it so early if I don't put workers on right away. Always building workers, using my chrono boost on gateway tech. I'm not going to get a stalker. I'm going to cut the stalker right now actually to get out my robo bay faster, because against Terran, especially when they're at my skill level, I really am afraid of that early push with just a few Marauders, and so I really want to get that Immortal out fast. And of course that probe's tripping out because I'm denying him the Scout, and I'm going to send this one and try and hold that other Watchtower because it's really useful against Terran to see if they're making that quick push with that just tiny ball, you know. Of course, supply is still looking pretty good, but my minerals are getting pretty high. Oh, that's because I could build a Stalker. Okay, I don't need... And I'm just going to build another pylon now. And I'm going to build it somewhere where I can have vision of part of my dark base. I never liked to have my base dark. Checked the minimap, saw a little guy floating, but of course it was just an SCV. Always keeping your eye on the minimap. Warp gate's done, yay! And of course building extra probes, more than I need, because I know I'm going to transfer them because I'm going to expand soon. Okay, this is done. Can't quite get my Immortal. I have nothing else to do right now, so I'm just going to wait. And... 250 minerals. Okay, now I've got my Immortal coming, and I've got extra minerals, so I'm actually going to build another gateway soon. Okay, I don't have extra minerals right now, but I will. You'll see that. And his probe was temporarily disabling the Watchtower. Hopefully his army wasn't walking by at that point, but it wasn't disabled long enough, really, so it doesn't matter. And I probably shouldn't have built that gateway quite yet. I just realized I really don't have the resources yet to justify it. Chrono boost out this because I have some chrono boost and I don't need it on my army because I'm not expanding. Oh, I just saw him coming through. So really need to get my army in place and ready to force field as soon as I see him. Right there. And then of course you want to use this high ground advantage to be able to attack him right now. And that Immortal especially, you want to focus fire those Marauders. That's the most important thing. Just focus, because it does so much damage. Now, I really shouldn't have moved in my Immortal so soon. That was a big mistake. He did take too much damage, and I wasn't using my high ground advantage. Notice there, I also just noticed some units weren't attacking, so I moved them all back so that way all of them could get into an attacking position. Putting another sentry down, make sure I have the resources. And now I'm going to expand. I've held off his initial push. I've got a lot of production, and so I'm feeling very safe about expanding. And I always like to say put a pylon down near your expansion. I'm going to try and retake that other watchtower. And let's get out some zealots. No, let's put out an Immortal. That's what I want to do. And I'm supply blocked until that pylon warps in. Too bad. Okay, so I'm going to put on one because now I know I'm going to be building units quite fast, so I know I'm really going to want to be getting them out quite frequently. Putting the chrono boost down as that finishes. Could have waited a couple seconds, but I was impatient. And the other thing too is I do like to get this gas before this finishes. Okay, I know that I've got the ability now to build units. Okay, it's funny how quickly you get supply blocked when you start producing at full throttle. And of course I want something to be able to check on those back rocks, that's why I'm going to put that there. And I don't know why I just chrono boosted that. And also now is probably the time when I'm going to want to get, going to want to put down my gas. And I'm going to start putting some zealots in my army. And let's get another river now. Okay, so now once again, I've just started to, because I decided to expand, is now a point where I'm just going to sort of focus on my base. And I have a little bit of tunnel vision. That's just the way I play. Oops. I just put it on hotkey too, which sucks, but whatever. And, okay, let's transfer a few, because I know I have a few extras. So let's put 3 there. Oh no, and then let's... I don't know what I just did. Anyways, what I like to do is I like to have all of my buildings now producing and sending workers here. Okay, that's what happened. Anyways, let's get back on top of my macro. Let's build some stalkers. Where is that observer? There it is. Finally came out. I'm going to see if I can get a good scout. I probably won't be able to. I'm going to get a couple sentries just because I do have a fair bit of gas right now. And this looks fully saturated, -1 probe, so I'm not going to try and build any more there or move any more. But I am going to be chrono boosting. Oh, I see his army coming. So what do I'm going to get this all ready. Make sure I have that force field ready. And at this point, I'm going to macro in terms of building units. Actually, I'm not going to because I'm now supply blocked. Okay, let's see if I can get a few attacks here. Ooh. That sucks. Anyways, putting another force field down before that one finishes. Ah! No, units! Get out of there! I don't want them being attacked, because then I lose my advantage. So, anyways, that did okay. Could have done a little bit better, but could have also gone a lot worse, so that's not a big deal. But I do need a lot more pilot. Letting myself get supply blocked. And right about now is when you really want to also think a tech switch too. You really want to think, you know, what am I going to tech up to? And of course, now's a good time for me to just check, make sure I have 3 on every gas. And I really want to throw down some extra production facilities at this point too. Now, he hasn't gone siege tanks yet, so I'm going to just go with the Robo Bay and go for Colossi. If you go siege tanks, I really don't like to get out the... Oh, there's a drop coming. Saw it on the minimap. But yeah, if you get siege tanks, I really... Oh no, it's just a scouting medevac. I forgot the AI does that. But I really, you know, don't like to get Colossi against tanks. I find that it really doesn't work that well. And of course, I have too many workers on here, so it's a good thing just to, you know, notice things like that. And of course, letting my... Well, I'm not letting my macro slip, I'm just not building a lot of army. So, now's a good time, in my opinion, sort of now I want to sort of put my army out in the field. I want to have a little bit more forward positioning. And of course, I want to hotkey my... these thingies? Whatever they're called, Robo Bays. And I like getting the Thermal Lance upgrade right away. Not everybody does. And of course, good time to start getting the upgrades. I actually could have a little bit earlier probably. But, you know what, I'm talking to you guys, and it was close enough anyways. It's not a big deal. Let's get out some observers, or some map hacks as people like to call them. And of course, getting out some more gateways. And I'm going to need some more pylons. But really importantly, is I'm going to want to have forward pylons that I can use to warp in units. Ah, that last one was really poorly placed. I'll just have to catch that. Okay, gonna put out some zealots because my army really doesn't have zealots. Whoa, he's got a big force coming in. So I don't want to... I saw that was really big on the minimap, I decided. So I'm not going to... I'm going to back up my army, use the force, wait for these Colossi to come out.